Well, we got some aftermath from the Rams Seahawks game. The Los Angeles Rams have fired special teams coordinator Chase Blackburn. In this video, we're going to talk about that. So thanks for clicking. Feel free to like and subscribe to the Rams Radar. Adam Schefter is the first one that I saw a couple hours ago saying the Rams special teams played a role in three of their team's four losses this season, including Thursday night's defeat in Seattle. Absolutely, that punt. I still can't believe you're up two scores in the fourth. Why do you punt the ball to Rashid Shaheed? Ugh, flabbergasted. Anyway, I'm over it. Not really, but kind of. Anyway, Schefter saying how rare it is. He goes on to later say, so they fired Chase Blackburn, and he said sources that Rams assistant special teams coach Ben Kotwica, that's not a name I say very often, now will take over and become the lead special teams coach. So, all the best to him. This is a surprise only because there's two games left in the regular season, and the Rams, you hope they're in contention for a Super Bowl. That's the only reason I'm surprised about this. This totally makes sense, though. The Rams special teams under Chase Blackburn, it's been a roller coaster. It's had some highs, it's had a lot of lows, and probably a lot more lows, especially this season. This is his third season as special teams coordinator. A couple seasons ago, it was really rough. It improved last year, but then this year it's been an issue, and it's sort of been like the elephant in the room that maybe didn't want to get talked about with the Los Angeles Rams. And we'll go over this article on ESPN.com by Sarah Bashard, and saying the Rams fired special teams coordinator Chase Blackburn. Sources told ESPN Adam Schefter. The move marks the first in-season coaching change that Rams head coach Sean McVay has made in his 9 seasons in Los Angeles. That's crazy. Talks about Ben being promoted to special teams coordinator. The Rams 11-4 and second place in the NFC West, lost to Seattle on Thursday night in a game that included a Seattle punt return for a touchdown and a missed 48-yard field goal by Los Angeles kicker Harrison Mevis. The Seahawks, 12-3, took over the Rams for first place in the division and a top overall record in the NFC thanks to the 38-37 overtime victory. Though the Rams have only lost 4 games this season, 3 have involved special teams miscues. In the Rams' first loss of the season to the Eagles, the Rams, Los Angeles had its final 2 offensive possessions end with block kicks. Yeah, that hurt. When the Rams lose, it's always in heartbreaking fashion, I tell you. In the Rams' Week 10 victory over the Saints, Joshua Carty missed an extra point and a 39-yard field goal attempt after the game. McVay said the Rams' special teams issues can't continue like this. Los Angeles replaced long snapper Alex Ward with Jake McQuaid and Carty with Mevis, who has not missed a kick until Thursday night in Seattle. Blackburn, 42, in his third season with the Rams special team coordinator, a former linebacker for the Giants and Panthers. He also worked as an assistant with Carolina and Tennessee. So that's, again, we don't know how the Rams special teams unit will perform now that they made a move. I'm not going to say I'm excited about that we're here, that we got here. But I am understanding something had to change. The reality is the Rams have a phenomenal defense. They have a phenomenal offense. And they have pieces on special teams. I still believe Ethan Evans is one of the best punters in the NFL. But the punt coverage for the Rams, especially you saw it in Seattle, but there's been other times this year, it just hasn't been where it needs to be for a Super Bowl contending team. And even, I'll go be so bold, I kind of feel like the kick return game has not been where it needs to be. I always feel like the Rams, and again, I'm not a special teams coordinator. I don't claim to be that. I'm just a fan that watches a lot of football and watches like every Rams game ever. I feel like they could have more potential in their kick return game with Jordan Whittington or Xavier Smith or Ronnie Rivers, right? Like whether that's kick or punt return. I feel like there's been a few things that the Rams are really missing in this third phase of football, which has cost them games this year. And I hope it doesn't cost them any games in the playoffs. I'm hoping that loss to Seattle is the last game that the Rams lose this year, and that they can win out, maybe still get the number one seed depending on what happens with the Niners and the Seahawks. But if they do go into the playoffs as a wild card, I hope they go on the road and that special teams are essentially a non-factor, right? Like if you're talking about special teams, it's either because they made an epic, amazing play, or they failed drastically. So I'm glad that the Rams recognize the urgency of it, and I know a lot of people are going to say like, "Hey, it's probably not a good idea to fire your special teams coordinator with 2 games left in the season when you're trying to win a Super Bowl." But what I say to that is, this shows accountability. The reality is this could have happened sooner. Um, and I I don't like to make a lot of videos about calling for someone's job or anything like that. But it when the Rams were struggling early in the year and everything that was happening with Alex Ward and Joshua McCarty and just like the kicking game, you kind of felt like this is the last year for Chase Blackburn anyway. I didn't think McVay would ever fire a coach in season like this, and when they're contending for a Super Bowl and making the playoffs. I was clearly wrong, and I'm okay with that. But I did feel that the Rams special teams unit was something that they need to improve on, right? And so it'll be interesting to see the aftermath of this. I am going to just point out here, given the new kickoff format and everything like that, check out some of these numbers here that I find interesting. And I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment below beside them. So here at NFL.com, when we look at kickoff specifically, the Rams have 54 touchbacks. And I know they've, at this time of this video, played one extra game. But as you can tell, they have a substantial lead in the amount of touchbacks that they kick versus any other team, right? Like 54, next closest is the Jaguars. In touchback percentage, they lead, they have the highest amount of that. Almost 60% of their kickoffs are touchbacks, right? Um, like the return average is 19.3, and so that's not bad. But that's the way that they've approached it, right? And I don't know if that's necessarily been the strongest thing given the new kickoff formats. And net average for punting here with the Los Angeles Rams, they're bottom five at 37.4. Now that is because the reality is the Rams don't punt that often, and maybe that's part of the problem. The Rams don't get enough practice actually punting because their offense is just scoring so much. Which, hey, I don't mind that, but I would like to at least be mistake free. Ideally, your special teams gets you a big play here and there that's, a turning point in the game, like what Seattle had against the Rams to turn that game around. Anyway, that's going to do it for me in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did you see this move coming? I know that on my watch party, a lot of people were calling for Chase Blackburn's job. So if you're one of those people, congratulations, you got your wish. And now I will see what happens next. In this roller coaster season in the NFL. As always, go Rams, horns up, and peace out. Let's go Rams.